Isn't that illegal?
I've got some facts and figures for you, some official statistics. According to the CIA World Factbook, as of July 2006 there were approximately 6.5 billion people in the world. Now that number's growing by 1.14% per year, which means that this time next year there will be around 75 million more people on the planet than there are now. People die obviously, and the death rate is currently 8.67 deaths for every 1,000 people. So in other words, over 56 million people will die in the coming year. Statistically, 1/3 of those deaths will be Christians, because 1/3 of the people today say they are Christian. So if you believe the message of the Bible is true, 80 million people, 1/3 of the people who die, will ascend up to heaven, enter the pearly gates, and have a lovely time flitting around from cloud to cloud on their new wings, playing the harp and trying to get Jesus' autograph. About 1/5 of the people who die, again according to the statistics, will be Muslims. And if they're right, if Allah really is the one true God, this time it will be the people who believed in him who are allowed up into heaven. And although this time the numbers will be smaller, that's still 11 million more Muslims in heaven each and every year. Now you might look at those two religions and think how wonderful the God of Christianity or the God of Islam is, giving eternal peace and happiness to millions and millions of dead people. And let's face it, if you're dead, your options are pretty limited, so the concept of a place where you're going to live forever and never feel pain or suffering is going to sound quite appealing to you. On the other hand, welcoming all those people into heaven is only part of God's big plan. Obviously his other plan is to torture and burn everyone who doesn't make the cut in everlasting fire, everlasting torment for all eternity. Christians believe that anyone who's not a Christian will go to hell, and obviously Muslims believe pretty much the same type of thing. If you don't worship Allah, you're in for a world of everlasting pain and suffering. What this means is that the Christian God will consciously, intentionally condemn 37 million people each and every year to hell, to roast in the fires and scream forever. That's 37 million people, all sent to the most excruciating torment and torture imaginable, all for the one crime of not believing in the right God. That's not just atheists, that's Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, Jews, Sikhs, anyone else. If you're not a Christian, you're a crispy one. It's obviously going to be a lot worse if the Muslim God is the right one, because only 11 of the 56 million get into heaven, which leaves 80% of dead people who don't. So the wonderful Allah, the God of Islam, consciously and deliberately decides to torture and burn around 45 million new people, adding 45 million more people to the total each and every year. Now actually, if you're an evangelist, you can probably reckon on there being 9 million more people sent down to the flaming pit, because half of all Christians are Catholics. And of course evangelists don't believe that Catholics are Christians at all, so they're going to fry with the rest of them. In fact, evangelism just manages to shade out Islam as the religion whose God will torture the most people in any given year. 46 million new torture victims every year if you're an evangelist. Well done, evangelism. Don't forget, that's just 1 year. The figure's for one single year, and it's every year. So in 10 years, say, 10 years from now, 370 million non-Christians will be burning. Now 370 million, that's about half the entire population of Europe at the moment. Or in the case of Islam, 450 million non-Muslims, which is about half the entire population of Africa, will be burning in hell. That's in 10 years. And in 100 years, now 100 years, obviously, nearly everybody alive today is going to be dead. So 2/3 of the entire population of the planet, that is 4 billion people, or 80% of the planet, which is 5 billion people if you follow Islam, they'll all be sent to hell by God, simply because they did not believe in the right God. So it's not even that a lot of these people don't believe in God at all. They believe in God, they just believe in the wrong God. You might believe in the God of the Bible just as strongly as somebody else believes in the God of the Quran. But if you do, you won't be seeing that other person over in heaven or hell when you die, because one of you is going to be cast down into agony without end, having your skin burned up over and over again for millions or even billions of years. At least that's what the Bible and the Quran say will happen. This is the reality of that all-loving, all-caring God that these two religions love so much. God condemns 37 or 45 million people, depending on which God it is, to endless torture every year. Why anyone who does that could ever get a reputation for being good is a complete mystery to me. Think about it. Are there really between 37 and 45 million people each and every year who've committed crimes so bad that they deserve to be tortured until the end of time? So you don't even need to count up all the people God killed in the Bible. Just look at how many millions of people he's adding to that fire each and every year. So, spare a thought for atheism. Atheists don't believe that anyone gets tortured after they die. If you're Muslim, you won't be cruelly punished for your beliefs if it turns out you were wrong. If you're a Christian, atheists won't even try to scare you into believing that you should change your ways and accept atheism so that you can avoid burning in hell. Atheists want you to know that if we never change the mind of a single person, not one, if all the Christians stay faithful to Christianity, if all the Muslims keep on praying to Allah, and all the Hindus keep on doing whatever it is they do, nobody, zero, not a single person who dies will suffer in fiery torment for all time. Not one. So if it was a choice, and it isn't a choice for me because I don't believe in God, so I can't choose because I don't believe. But if I had a choice, I seriously doubt I would praise a God who, if you look at those numbers I've just given you, he causes more pain in the afterlife than he does peace. And all because you didn't believe in him.
Isn't that illegal?
Censor your kids' ideas, censor your child's inspiration, censor all that. Expect a really heavy return spring, because you know what? That kid's going to turn her on you, and you're never ever going to have a part of his life again.
Casting off the chains of the world.
But enough about me.